Did you know that nearly 70% of high-earning women still report feeling stressed and out of control when it comes to their money situation, despite earning six figures or more? This is not an income problem. It's a relationship with money problem. Welcome to the Wickedly Branded podcast. I'm your host, Beverly Cornell, and I'm the founder and fairy godmother of branding here at Wickedly Branded. And today's conversation is one that goes far beyond a lot of rows in a spreadsheet and budget crunching, right? It becomes, because I think what we're talking about here is the emotional, energetic, and deeply personal side of money. And we have lots of mindset issues around money, people. So I am joined by Lark Dean Galley. She helps high-earning women bring order to their money so they can finally close the gap between what they earn and the life they actually experience. And Lark's story is one of profound transformation, turning unimaginable loss into a mission that's now changing lives in a completely different way. Welcome, Lark.
Thanks, Beverly.
Money. I feel like this is like a topic that we need to talk about all the time. I certainly have had money mindset issues. I have worked through from when I was a kid, how I was raised, a lot of things that I worked through. Still, I'm a marketer, and the money side of the numbers, I like the story that they tell, but the actual doing of the numbers is like beyond me. My very first hire was a CPA and my accountant. Because of that, I know it's important. I don't want to make the IRS mad. And I want as much as I can in my pocket. So talk about the journey you got to this business and why and the way that you do it, because it's about intuition and so much more. So dive into that a little bit as well.
All right. I grew up in poverty. There was food insecurity. We moved every year. My father was diagnosed bipolar. So every day was an adventure. I was the new kid at school every year. So you can imagine like a lot of instability.
Yeah.
And when I was in my early teens, I decided that my kids would not experience this. It was devastating. You're going to school and your clothes have holes in them, or you're not wearing the latest thing, or you're wearing the same thing every week type. I knew I wanted more for myself and my family. And I got my education. I went into corporate. I did all the things. I became the #1 global senior sales rep for a Fortune 500 company. I did operations. I left corporate world, went out on my own, inherited my father's small trucking business, which was a mess. And within 9 months, I had streamlined it. So I was working 1 hour a week in an asset-based business. And then I started doing business coaching and all the things. And my kids were growing up. They were in their late teens or early 20s. And I felt, okay, I'm achieving these things. I've done this, all of that. And then 7 years ago, in March 2019, my 19-year-old son took his life. Yeah. And that changed everything. That was completely devastating.
How does it not change everything?
Yeah, I can't even tell people just how it impacted me. It devastated our family. Everything that I thought was important, seriously, like we put our ladder against the wall and we climbed that corporate ladder. We're doing all the things. And when something happens that shakes your world, you have to step back and evaluate what really matters. And I think a lot of people got that opportunity during COVID to say what really mattered and maybe to do a reset on their lives. And for me, I just stepped away from a lot of things. I looked at it and said, some things I want to do, some things I don't want to do. And I got heavily involved in suicide prevention. I wrote a book, which is helping a lot of families who might have lost a loved one.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Learning to Breathe Again, Choosing to Heal After Losing a Loved One to Suicide. And it is on Amazon. And that was very cathartic for me. I would go around and teach in schools, etc. But after doing that for about 3.5 years, I was feeling depressed. So, and you could take a step back and going, yeah, it's for a good cause, but if it's making you depressed, that's not going to help anybody.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. And during this time, I was with a friend who her special gift is she sees dead people. And she said, your son has a message. And I'm like, okay, share. And she said, you need to stop doing the suicide prevention. It's killing you. And I said, what kind of meaning can I have in my life? What could I do that's going to give me purpose? And my son said, you need to teach the moms, and the moms will teach their kids. And I'm like, wow, okay. And I think for a lot of us, as we're teaching in the entrepreneurship or what we're trying to teach other people, it's the version of ourselves, our younger selves, when we were going through the rough times. And so I remember having young kids. I'm in corporate. I'm trying to live the corporate dream and climb the ladder, and yet have these young kids. And that's who I started talking to. I started talking to these mostly commission sales or entrepreneurs because we have a different mindset than just punch the time clock.
Yep.
And trying to share with them all of these lessons that I have learned in my life about overcoming money blocks, about how to streamline and just live the life that you were meant to live and keep it in perspective versus going off the rails too heavily and prioritizing your work over the relationships that really matter.
It's interesting, Lark, because a couple things. One, I've moved 28 times in my life. So I do know what you're talking about. We were fairly poor as well. I don't think I had holes. We definitely didn't buy new clothes. It was the retail store and things like that. And the resale shops that we got our clothes at and these different things. And I also, obviously it's not the same. So I'm not trying to like even remotely connect it. But at 19, I got very sick. So much so that I planned my own funeral. And at that time, when you're 19, like it's like the peak of your immortality in most cases. So the fact that your son was 19 is shocking to me in some ways. But I remember how isolated I felt and how lonely I felt because everybody else was living their lives. And I was so sick. And I also realized that in a second, your life can change. Like you could be fine one day and the next day, not so fine. And I got a second lease on life. I'm considered a medical mystery and I'm fine now and all the things. But I think at 19 to have that revelation changed how I viewed living in the now and what's possible. So those things affect you is I guess what I'm affirming is those things affect you at different parts of your life on how you approach things. But I love so much the fact that your son told you it's about the moms because my mission is really that. It's about helping the female founders have more agency, have more power, have more wealth, to be able to have the legacies for the first time ever. This is the first generation that's able to do that. And if we have more women in that space at tables or creating their own tables, we'll live in a more soulful world.
Yes.
So the fact that the moms are being empowered is incredibly important and so powerful. The ripple of that is not only your children, their children, like it will live on in so many ways. So a gift in many ways that your son was able to communicate that to you.
Yes, a gift. And that really opened up some new things. So I started studying, okay, what does it look like to teach the moms? And through certain YouTube training and all of that, I got introduced to this thing called human design and Jinkies and all of that. And I found out that my purpose, okay, the reason I was put on this planet was to help people take from their chaos into order. And that's what I love to do. And I'm like, when you start living your soul's purpose, things change in a way that it's unimaginable. Anything else you've done is just fine, but this is a soul's calling.
Yes, I would agree. I would 100% agree. When I fully stepped into what I was supposed to do, instead of waking up at 3 a.m. totally stressed out, I was waking up at 3 a.m. going, oh my gosh, I get to do this thing. I had so many ideas and like I didn't need as much sleep anymore. And it just became a very different purpose to it. And the work that we do with women here at Wickedly Branded is we really believe that branding work for women is identity work because you have to show up visibly, you have to show up with authority, and that's not something women typically have been encouraged to do. Women are not taught to be brave. Men are taught to be brave. Boys are taught to be brave. Women are taught to be good little girls and keep your mouth quiet and don't be bossy. And there's a lot of conversation happening. So I feel like this work is so incredibly important. And I love that you're focused on that because it is something that's so deeply personal to me as well. I didn't really have a lot of people to go to when I first started my business 14, 15 years ago to help me get started. And seeing so many amazing women like you and April and other people that we know doing these awesome things is just like, I call it magic because that's what we feel here is some magic, but it is the magic in it all. So what do you wish if somebody is like starting a business right now, or they're in those early days, maybe they have started to see that's their business, that's the moment that's really spectacular to them. It goes, oh, this is it. What do you wish people understood about those early days that you now know?
So first of all, I'd say make sure you're in alignment with who you are and your purpose and the direction. And I'm going to throw out human design again, right? It can help you align in so many ways so that you're not trying other people's strategies saying those strategies work for them. Yeah, but they don't necessarily work for you, right? That's number one. And then here's the other hard thing I learned. I was just at a networking group last night, and I can't tell you how many coaches were in the room. And they're like, oh, I teach joy. Okay, because when I started, I wanted to teach peace, love, and joy. That doesn't really sell in the world. So you need to come up with what you're helping them. You sell them what they want and you give them what they need, which is the peace, love, and joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The back door.
Yeah, I like that because there's a lot of ROI involved in that, whatever that looks like for them. What does that mean if they stay stuck? What are the stakes if they stay stuck and don't do the thing? And I think like for branding, I'm sure with money mindset, there's a whole lot that goes with that, or money side of it is a whole lot. But for women, it could be they don't raise their prices. It could mean that they don't
give stuff away for free.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like over deliver every day. We're so relational. We want to help everyone. Yes. There's so much about that is important. They're afraid to raise their prices. They're afraid to ask for, like, to claim their power, like to be the authority. So they sit in smaller roles than they should. All kinds of things. There's so much at stake by not understanding the human design. I love the idea of human design. Like I don't follow it to a T. Like I don't general principles of it, but we talk about the competition trap all the time. Like you on Instagram, you see all these people being successful. You see all of them actually doing all these things, but that might not be what works for you. And it's okay that it doesn't work for you. The book that I'm working on right now is about claiming your voice, visibility, and authority in a world not built for women. Men have built our container, and that doesn't work with a woman who has children and a husband and a business and carpooling and dentist appointments. And like, it's a very different experience that we have as women. And we get to now create the business that works for us.
Exactly.
Like, the exact container that works for how you function. I happen to be midlife. I happen to be ADHD. There's a lot of things about me that make me unique. And I've fully embraced all those things. My husband's in the military, so we move every 3 years. A lot of things that make me who I am. But what I know because of all of those things is I'm a cultivator. You put me somewhere and I'm going to cultivate the soil and I'm going to make it work. Like you can plant me anywhere and I'm going to get there. So there's things about me that have been defined by those experiences. So I love this idea of finding your truth, finding your path, finding what works for you. And the thing is with marketing and whatever, there's a lot of be different, do this, but you are uniquely different. So be you.
Like, you're already different.
You're made perfectly. Like that's big. The world needs more of you, not somebody else. So I know, like I said, I don't know a lot about human design, but I do understand like the concepts behind it. And it is powerful for sure.
Through the human design, I've begun to understand me and some things that come naturally. One of my gifts is that I help people find the blocks in getting their goals and around their money. And at first, I would tiptoe into this whole money conversation until about 2 years ago, I was getting ready to go prepare a speech to be on stage in front of a couple hundred people. And I'm like, oh, what do I want to talk about? And God literally said, I want you to talk about money. And I was like, what? I want to talk about peace, love, and joy. And these people cannot get to peace, love, and joy if they can't feed their families and they can't keep a roof over their head. And if you remember a few years ago, things were rough in the economy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to embrace it if things feels really incongruent.
Yeah.
Like my son died and here I'm going to talk about money. But now I understand why. It's been a couple of years and I've talked more about money because I'm the perfect person to talk about money. Number one, I've come out of poverty. I tell people, I promise you, whatever blocks you're having around money, I've probably experienced them. We'll call you out. There's that. And then because of my son's death and how I look at possessions and money and all of that, and I now know that I'm the perfect person to tell you, I will help you with your money issues. But guess what? It's not about the money. It's just a tool. It's just a lesson. We're here to learn. And once we learn how the game of money is played, you can have a lot of fun.
Hey, I know you're listening today because you're ready to take your business and your brand to the next level. But if you're being honest with yourself, maybe even feeling a little bit lost, but you've got this big vision and you know that you're meant to make a bigger impact. But sometimes it's so hard to know where to start and which direction to take. Does that sound familiar? You're not alone. So many purpose-driven entrepreneurs feel the exact same way as you. That's why I created the Clarity Quiz, a simple tool that helps you get to the heart of what's holding you back and shows you where you need to focus next. No more second guessing, no more spinning the wheels, just clear, actionable insights that give you the confidence to move forward, that next best step. Taking the quiz will give you a deeper understanding of your brand's true potential and what's standing in your way. And the best part, it only takes like 3 minutes, but the results, they could transform the way you approach your business and brand forever. So if you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed and you want to start showing up with purpose and clarity, go to wickedlybranded.com and take the quiz now. Okay, so you talk about the tension between money and how critical that is, right? So how do you, obviously you can't give us all your secrets. How do you reconcile some of that tension that people have with money and the relationships and growth and all of that?
Okay. So if you think of money is just a tool that it's a lesson that we're here to learn. Okay. So two things that don't exist in the eternities, but exist here on earth are time and money. And we need to understand how those work, right? Because they don't exist later. It's just a lesson for us here. So many of the money blocks that we experience deal with child issues and problems and things that we saw through child eyes or experienced and we didn't understand differently. So we're coming into our world with all of these preconceived ideas that friends and family, loving people gave to us. And so it's part of this. And then we're out in society. And I will tell you this, that some things that I've learned, 70% of the population are not motivated by money. 70%. Yeah. And it's most of the coaches and the healers, right? And so this is what happens. If you're not motivated by money, you have an internal struggle that you need to overcome just because of the way you're wired. And what that looks like is you create something and it's a beautiful gift to the marketplace. And you bring it to the marketplace and you say, here is my gift. And then you think, but what if people think I want money? Because it's not about the money. Yep. And then your brain goes, but I need money. I like to eat. I like to have a house. And so the people that aren't motivated by money, and I've even met people that are motivated by money and they still have this issue. They want to bring their little child to the marketplace, but they keep pulling it back and going, yes, no, yes, no. And then they say things like, I don't want to be salesy or I don't want to force people. And I said, that's not your role. Your role is to offer and they get to decide.
Yeah. That's it. I would say that you have the medicine that they need and either they're going to take it or they're not. But you can at least offer the medicine. Here's what I think you need to help with this problem. But so many people are playing small, partly because of the money, partly because of, you said all these conversations. I call it the should suitcase. You should wait for your money. This is like one that I had to go back.
Yes.
My dad's a former teacher and a salesperson. My mom was a nurse. I was raised by the salt of the earth people, and you should work hard for your money. And I had to come to terms with maybe I don't need to work to death. I could work. So now I set hours because around my kids' schedules, and I do things a little differently. And it isn't about, for me, obviously. I want a nice house and I want those things. But you talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You need the basics to be able to go to the next level. So if some things are not taken care of, you can't even go to the next level of actualization or what that looks like. But for me, my husband makes a good living. I really want money to renovate the house and go on vacation. That's the real things that I really want.
Your motivators.
And then I also want to give back to my community. So how do I create equity and justice and give back to my community through my church, through the work we do, all the things. So those are things that matter to me. And so the motivators that you talk about. So I feel like working through some of those, they serve me to a certain degree. The work hard thing got me through my master's program. But now they don't serve me as well anymore. Maybe because I'm in midlife and I have more wisdom. Maybe because I have kids and it doesn't matter as much or whatever. It does change your perspective if you do the work and think about where did this come from? Where was I conditioned? And does it serve me or does it not serve me? And some of those questions that I have over the last couple of years, I work with a coach, I work with a therapist. I tell everybody this on my podcast. I feel high performers need people in their lives to help them work through some of this stuff. But it has changed the way, I never had debt ever for my business. And recently I'm starting to invest. So I'm doing a little bit differently. And I'm not freaking out. And there's things, like you said, play with money. Now I'm okay, no, wait a minute. Now I want to see if I can do this thing. And there is a little bit more play in it because I'm not as stressed out about it in some ways. You have to get to a certain level mindset wise. And what changed for you, do you think? Was there a moment or was it a process?
It was a process, but then I can actually tell you the moment because I remember this. So since I told you preteen, I'm just going to find my way. I'm going to find the way out of poverty. And I thought it was through education. And back in the day, it was getting your schooling, your master's degree and getting a good job and all of that. Fortunately, that's completely not the way it has to be anymore. And so I just went on that path, and I'm always reading. I'm always trying to do self-development, go to different seminars. And I can remember it was on my lunch break on a work day, I was reading a book. And the book, it just hit me. And I realized that through all the decades of reading and studying, the number one thing every one of these books had was the mindset. It's all about the mindset. It really is. And what I teach my students is the work that we do around mindset is harder than physical labor. Absolutely. If I told you, hey, if you want to earn $1 million, go out and dig a 6-foot trench. You'd be like, I'm happy. If I told you that for 6 months, I want you to think a certain way, oh my gosh, that's so hard, right? And so it's mental work. And then the other thing I want people to understand is, what if it could be easy? What if you started to fall in line with your human design? What if you started to do what comes easily to you? And what if earning money could be easy?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like you don't have to work hard. Yeah, it could be easy. Yeah. I love this. So there's wealth codes in human design.
Different codes, or like I told you, there's money lines and all of that. And then I talk about the 5 wealth codes, which are basically understanding your aura type, your authority, your strategy, your sun gate. So all of those things, when I talk to people, I say, hey, do you know about human design? Oh, I had a reading a year ago. I couldn't tell you anything. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that kind of person. I'm going to tell you the 5 things that will change your life. If you just start to do these 5 basic things, your life will improve. And that's how you
things.
So are you one of the 5 energy types? Do you remember, are you a manifesting generator?
I think
generator?
So. Okay. I think so.
Yeah. When you start telling me you're doing all these things, I'm like, oh, she's a mani-gen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely have goals and I have plans and I have, so there's a lot of that. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm a projector, which is one of the types. And so you understand your type, you understand your strategy in how you relate to others. And then you understand how you need to build your business or how you need to grow. And for the manifesting generator, it's to respond. For the projector, it's to wait to be invited for the invitation. And it doesn't have to be a formal invitation. Oh, Lark, would you please be
an opportunity? An opportunity has to appear. Yeah.
You feel like the projector feels like somebody's actually sees me as somebody who might know something.
Okay.
And so then you have 3 other types and they have different ways that they operate. And then you have your authority type. And since you're a manifesting generator, you can either be a sacral, which is your gut, or an emotional authority. There are a couple others, but that's pretty much for my generator types. So if, for example, like me, I'm an emotional authority, I need 72 hours to get really clear if I'm going to invest time, money, or resources. If you're a sacral authority, which you could be either one of those, if I ask you, do you want to do this thing? Your gut knows.
Yeah, I'm sacral. I can tell you that.
You're like, yes, I know. Yeah.
If it feels in alignment, I know I'm doing the right thing. Like I really trust my soul.
My gut.
Only. Yeah, your gut. Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. If you're sacral, it's your gut. It's not your head. It's not your heart. Oh, I feel this way. You're like, no, you don't. Just do what your gut says. You trust that. So if you trust your gut, instead of somebody asks you to do something and your gut says no and your mouth says yes, because I'm sure you've done that before.
Have you seen?
Like, oh, she sees me. Yeah, because then what happens is you don't lean into the trust of your own authority. But the more you trust it, then you won't regret your decisions because you'll be.
This is a great example. And I say this a lot up to people that I work with. For the first few years of my career, my business, I said yes to everything and to everyone. And I wore myself out to a ragged dress ball of unhappiness and all of that. But I thought I was doing the right thing. And by all measures of success, Lark, I was making money, getting referrals, doing good work, all those things. But I was miserable because I wasn't doing what was in alignment with who I was. And once I decided I can do what I want to do, like what drives me, that drains me, I can do those things and lean harder into, like the sun came out and like angels sung.
Yeah. What happens, especially for women, we are conditioned to be a good little girl and to help and to serve and to put everybody else first.
Needs first.
That is not always the right answer. It's never the right answer. You know what I'm saying? As far as like making sure that you are taken care of, you show up in your integrity. And then the 5th part is your sun gate. Like, it's all about your brand. That's what that is. 70% of what you're meant to do on this planet is within the sun gate, and will tell you where the sun will shine on you. And what's so fun is when I do these readings for people, every single one, and we're talking, these are people that are over 30, so they've been living life for a while, right? They're not in their teens. They are all doing something within that realm of the sun gate. And that's what helps validate you to say, you are on the right path. You are doing what you're meant to do. And that helps feel so good. But I developed this money blocks training because you can use your human design to specifically nail down what is your specific block. So people can get that for free on my website if they want. It's so fun.
So I'll put the link there. I'll make sure that it's in the link in the show notes so people can check it out. And I might have to go check it out too, because I'm curious.
Especially with the manifesting generator, you want to do all the things and you don't want to be put in a box. Don't tell me what to do.
No, I don't want to be put in a box. I'm very independent. And I feel like as I become more centered in who I am and how I serve, the more I have boundaries around a lot of that stuff now. And that everyone's happy with that. Wow, she used to be so like, whatever. Now she's like, no, we don't do that.
Yes, but you're happy.
I'm way happier. Oh my gosh, Lark. The last couple of years have been an amazing process of me finding, almost like a metamorphosis of me finding who I am, how I'm supposed to be here, what my purpose is, why it matters. I've always loved branding and marketing. I've been doing it for almost 30 years. I've always loved my work, but now I love my work and the results and the people I work with and my team. And it's so compounded. And I think what you said earlier, even I alluded to this, is that when you are in that alignment of your human design, of all the things that kind of make you up, I would call it serendipity, you can call it luck, you can call it opportunity, but like the world opens up in ways. I never thought I was going to write a book. I'm actually reading my second book. There's so much that can happen that I think it took me, 12 years to realize I was a writer. And I wrote over 1 million words every month. But I was like, I'm not a writer. I'm a copy. I write copy and do branding and whatever. But it's like all of a sudden, all signs pointed toward, I guess I am a writer. I'm a writer. And now I'm writing my second book. So I had to accept it in some ways. But this couple of years it's been magical because I'm definitely on a different vibe right now. I'm vibrating a different vibe than I was before. And people can just see it. They can just tell when they have a conversation with me. Oh gosh, she's so excited. She loves what she does. That is, when you're in alignment like that, you are a magnet. Like you are, like, I don't know. And when my clients get to that place, it's so exciting to watch the evolution because you don't understand, like you just turned yourself on and like the whole world is like, what is she doing now? So yeah, it's super exciting. But I do think, like you said, the mind going to dig the hole for $1 million seems really simple. The mind is quite complex. There could be trauma. There could be a lot of things that are in there that are keeping you in that place. So I'm a recovering people pleaser. I'm a recovering perfectionist. I have recovering doubt, fear, and imposter syndrome. All the things that we that we have to deal with to claim your place in this world. But yeah, the mind is interesting, extremely powerful. And it is a process to work through some of that to unlock the other areas of it. But once you do, watch out, world. I love what you're doing this. So as it relates to what do you see as like the biggest, 3 things that people have to deal with as it comes to money? Maybe the biggest mindset differences or changes they have to come to terms with.
So sometimes it's about your value. That could be one thing. Another thing could be about the restrictions you feel around money and why you feel it frustrates you. A lot of times it's in our story from when we were younger. When I'm talking to people, and here's my special gift. If we're having a money conversation and you're out of alignment with money, I will feel it. And I just am like, let's talk about, what did you just say? And people will be like, no, yeah, I'm listening. And I will say, let's talk about this. Oh, I didn't mean that. I'm like, oh, no, you meant that. There's a clip that comes out. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't mean it that way. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure you did. That subconscious that comes up. And so we explore the stories and you find out, okay, why do you have this one woman? She was divorced and she had an issue with $300. Like she couldn't price her stuff. It had to be below that or above that, but she couldn't price anything at $300. And we started to explore it. Turns out that her ex-husband was supposed to pay child support of $300 and he never paid it. And so she had these amounts around $300. And we had to talk about what was the thing behind $300.
Interesting. Yeah. Like there's like a script running that you don't even know is there running.
And we just have to get in there and find it and say, now we can be done with it, because your logical mind can take a step back and say, okay, this is all the emotion that was around $300. And now I can just let it go.
So my husband and I are very different. My husband he's one of 7 kids, and he came from, I think maybe a little bit less even from us, because he had 9 people to feed, and he always had hand-me-down clothes from his brothers and never had like his own clothes and all kinds of things. So he is very concerned about money all the time. Maybe because my mom was a hippie, I don't know, but I've always felt like it will be there.
Yeah.
And that if I do the things I'm supposed to do, whatever those things are, like if I show up the way I'm supposed to, if I talk to the people I'm supposed to, opportunities will happen. And my husband has seen it. We'll be like, oh, I need to go fix a car. It's $2,000. Then the next day I'll get like a client for $2,000. Like he sees it happen. And he's like, how do you like just believe in it? I said, because like you see it happen. Like I have proof that it happened. Like I can't undo the proof. And so he is like, how do you like the manifesting generator? Like that kind of idea of, oh, a client will come and figure this out. Like it'll figure it out. Like I've done all the work up to this point. Like I'm not resting on my laurels. I'm still like going to networking. I'm still planting seeds. I'm still following up with clients. I'm still doing good work, all those things, so that those opportunities that are available do come to me when it's the right time. But like one time I can't remember what it was, like we had to replace something on the sewer or something, and it was a couple $1,000s, and we ended up getting like money back on our escrow or something. And he was like, how do you do this? I don't know.
I call it faithing.
Yeah.
You have to have faith in the fact that these things can happen. I teach about quantum physics and how these little quirks out into the universe, and they start moving people towards you. And that's why the mental work is so hard, because you have to stay in that flow, and you have to believe that what you want will come to you, and there will be a way, and it will come, because the people that you're looking for, they're looking for you, and you can meet. But as soon as you go, oh, this doesn't work, then all the little quirks go, oh, she told us that she wanted this, but now she says she doesn't want this. So now we're just going to find something else. And that's where the work is. It is focused work, mental work. And people are like, oh, that's so hard.
I was just reading an article, I think it was in The Atlantic, about the new Michael Jackson movie. And despite what you feel about him, like I grew up with him and it was on my wall as a kid. Like I loved him. But he used to have like all over his house, like that he was going to be the person in music. Like he was going to be the leader. He was going to be, I can't remember the words that they used, but I was like, Michael Jackson had to tell himself those things. He was like literally the king of pop. And so you look at people who aren't quite so talented and quite so popular, I'll say, are famous, but we all have to do that work. And it's just, the work might be different for everyone, but the work is still there to do that. I can tell you right now, I feel like I'm on this precipice or this cusp of something. I'm at this inflection point in my life that either I go big or I go home. That's where I feel. And the go big is super scary. Like I am nervous, excited about it, extremely vulnerable about it. Like I feel a lot of vulnerability around it, but I feel it in my bones that like there's something happening. Like the stars are shifting, something happening. And I keep like thinking it could be really big. And I'm like telling my husband, I don't want to be disappointed. It doesn't happen, but I just feel it in my bones. Like that this is something that needs to happen with this book and some other things that I'm working on. And the effect of it could be very large. And I've said to my husband, are we prepared for this? Because I feel this. And he's, I guess we'll have to be. But there's this, you say like the energy. So I have cautious energy around it. And I probably just need to go all in. Like you're saying that right now tells me I need to go all in. But it is interesting as people how we can believe in something so powerfully, but also still be a little bit nervous, excited, and like cautious about it, and not think it's even possible in that respect. Because I have a very good life, Lark. Like I do well. I have a great business. I have a great team. I have great clients. Am I trying to mess with the system? I think that's the thing I'm a little bit nervous about is you've got something really good here, Beverly. You've built something really amazing. Like, what if you go down this road and it's not so amazing?
But what if it's like your life's purpose and like it explodes and it's just so big? Yeah. I've been in those energy situations before where like you literally feel the energy moving inside.
Absolutely.
And you're like, I don't know what's coming, but it's big.
It's coming. Love it. Why? No.
Right. Throw caution to the wind. Go all in.
I just got like chills. Yeah,
Don't
I
call
think
it.
there's something happening.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's like a vibration. And I actually just wrote about this. It's like the hum of the Artemis 2. There's a hum happening before the launch, right? And all that work is done before you even get in the spaceship, before you go to space, all that work, all the people that have been part of your journey, all the stories you told yourself, all the hard work, all the learnings, all the everything. It's that hum underneath the launch. And it's either you press the like launch button and you make it happen, or you just sit in that what if phase, right? So I just wrote about this, like this hum that can happen. And that's what I feel. I feel like this hum is happening before this launch. And that's where so many of my clients, I feel like women, they're brilliant. They have so much to offer. They have the thing that could solve so many problems for people, yet they're playing small. They're not giving the medicine that they know that they have. And the world needs it. And I know the world needs this, the thing that I'm in the middle of creating. It's very timely. And it's something I think I can really, as a legacy, feel very proud of in creating. But it's also very vulnerable and all the things. So it matters.
It does matter. That's what I think. So many times the adversary puts some thoughts in our mind like, oh, you're not good enough, or nobody cares. They don't want it. Or what difference would it make? You're not going to affect anybody. Okay. So those are not your thoughts. Those are the bad thoughts, right? I want you to say, when those thoughts come to you, say, oh, I see you. And if the adversary is saying it's not going to impact anybody, you say, oh my gosh, it's going to impact 1 million people. And you just switch it, because what the adversary is saying is lies. It is lies.
I love this because so it's wickedly branded. Everything that we do is Wizard of Oz and Wicked themed. We have this whole kind of thing that runs through it. We talk about the tornado overwhelm. We have a lot of things that we talk about. I use the analogy, the metaphor of the flying monkeys of distraction. And they fly at you when you're about to level up.
Yeah.
And they want to keep you from leveling up. And that's information. That's all that information. And some of us will just knock them away. I'm like, I don't think you necessarily knock them away. You can name them like, oh, I see you fear. I see you doubt. And like you can say, what am I learning here so that I can level up? And so I say, tame them. Don't, because they are teachers. They are literally teachers if you allow yourself to learn from them. And that's really what I'm trying to do, is learn from these teachers. Like I said, I'm a recovering perfectionist, recovering imposter syndrome, like I'm really trying to work through that on a regular basis. But they are teachers and it's information for you to level up. So I actually have a whole metaphor around it. I use it all the time. And a lot of my clients will say, oh, I saw the monkeys coming today. And I just said, I see you.
Yep. And that is to identify it and then say, okay, whatever they're saying, what's the worst thing that could happen? Your fear. Oh, people might think I'm too much or call me names or think I'm all this. And I'm like, yeah, I can live with that.
So I think my fear around all of this is that men will be angry. And we're in a society right now where they're a little angry. And so I might be adding a little bit of gas to the flame. That's the thing that I'm a little bit concerned about. And I don't want to, there's a little bit of a safety issue there, but there's also, I love men.
Yeah.
I don't want them to think that I hate them. So there's a little bit of that too. So like, I'm really trying to, and it's been great because I've been talking to some men and getting some really good feedback of helping me so that I can present it in the way that I think will be most well received. I'm not going to make everybody happy. And if you do anything really well, you're going to piss some people off. That's going to happen. But in general, I don't want to like cut off half the human race in this process, because I think men could be really big supporters and amplifiers of the work that women are doing. So I want them as allies, not as adversaries in this process. So that's been my like biggest, I think, hurdle in fairness. I don't want to make a bunch of men angry at me, but I'm going to piss off some of them, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm going to piss off some women probably too. I do know there's going to be a lot of people who are going to benefit from it, because when you can name things and you know it's not you that's the problem, and you can decide whether you want to carry it forward or you want to leave it behind you, that's very empowering. That's really what's helped me with some of this. And I think some of the mindset work you're doing is very much in line with some of that. Yeah.
No, I go for it.
Yeah. I love you, Lark. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I always ask everybody, I actually literally have a wand, and I can wave my wand.
Okay.
And I can maybe make some marketing challenge you have less or go away. Do you have a question or something that's really is challenging you right now around marketing that maybe we could talk about?
So the whole AI thing, okay? Because I'm cultivating an AI to sound like me and my voice.
Perfect.
But people are like, don't use AI. It's not you. It's not real. And I'm like, I've cultivated this.
Yeah.
My AI kind of sounds more like me than I do.
Yeah, definitely me. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll ask it a question or I'll do a post and I'll put some stuff in there. He's like, and he'll come back and say, you forgot this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. I forgot. How did I forget that? Yeah. What is your take on AI in this whole marketing world?
So we actually build custom AI bots and agents for our clients. So we inform the agents and the bots to their voice, to our marketing methodologies. We put a lot in, garbage out, good in, good out. Mm-hmm. The more you can program it, give it good content of what you have written, give it some parameters and guidelines and boundaries and things like that, and things that you like and don't like, do this, don't do this. The more you can really inform an agent or a project on your voice, the better it's going to be. We use it during the day. We use it for a lot of ideation. We have it push back. We have it play devil's advocate with us. We have it, we use it for a lot of things, but we never just do it and never look at it. You have to edit it. You have to challenge. We challenge AI all the time. Sometimes I want to fire AI. I'm at it. I'm like, you went rogue. Why did you go rogue? There's a lot of things you still have to control in it. But I think what's nice about our generation specifically, Lark, is that we know our stuff. So we know when AI is bullshitting us. Yeah. You're like, damn, that is not true. It's not the truth. And that is not real. Whatever that is, it goes to this fantasy place or whatever. We can challenge it in a way that I think is really powerful. And I'm afraid, this is my only fear, is that we have this wisdom. The newer generations don't have all the wisdom first. I think about the computer and I think about the calculator and I think about some of those things that we all learned how to use at some point or another. And they've made our lives easier. And we know the limitations of it. So we know the internet probably is a little bit biased. We start to know, once we use it, we start to know these things. I think there's a place for it. I've heard a lot of, they'll be smarter than us, get rid of us. There's all kinds of things specifically on what we do. But I think right now, in this point of time, your humanity is your edge, because everything's going to start to feel a little bit the same, look the same, and your humanity, your perspective is going to be your differentiator more than ever. So lean hard into that. But I would never say don't use a tool that can make you 15% more productive or 40% more productive, especially in a work that we do that's isolated and alone, like a thinking partner to help you. I think you need to give it some boundaries and a real clear role and inform it with as much of you and the essence of you as possible. And I've done a whole thing. I don't know if you've ever done this. This is a great tip to help inform your AI. You can do voice now on AI, and you can just say, hey, I want to go through my life and I want you to ask me some questions that will get me to think about how all of these things have helped me become who I am in the work that I do. And it will ask you questions, and you talk about the stories of how maybe it was when you were young and you had holes in your pants and you moved 20 times. And then it was maybe something to do with your son. And maybe it was there's all these things that can inform you and then help you see why you are the perfect person to do the work you're doing. So I know for myself, that moving all those times makes me a cultivator. And I'm a really good listener because I've been the new person so many times. I've had to pay attention to the world around me to see what's safe, to see who I can trust, to see all those things. And so I'm a really good person to see patterns and see who I can tell you who's the popular one in a second. I can tell you who's the nerdy one in a second. I can tell you who's the real person in a second too. Those skills have made me really good at what I do because I can cultivate brands. I can recognize patterns in people. I can see I call it the shimmering thread of their life to see where all of it connects to their brand. Those are the things you could ask your AI to help you find. I have all these stories, and then inputting those stories is great for social. Tell a story. I use it on LinkedIn all the time. Storytelling is huge. I talk a lot about storytelling for what humans love stories. We connect to stories. We remember stories far easier than stats every day, all day long. So you can say, I want to talk about confidence or money mindset. Use a story of mine to make a point about this to my clients. Infuse you into those things by telling your stories. And once you have that story bank, I think I have 100 stories right now, Lark, in my story bank. You've got a content vault for days and weeks and months that you don't have to revisit. So that can be the keeper of your story, the content vault. And then you can pull that out and you can tweak it and say, no, for this one, I'm going to be more about this or more about this. But it still is going to need you to have the last little cherry on the top to edit. But I say, don't be afraid. and definitely play with it. And then figure out what you feel comfortable with. If you don't feel comfortable with doing one thing, then don't do that with it. But if you feel comfortable with the other thing, then do that. I'm a trust yourself kind of person. Like, trust yourself, trust your gut on what you think is right for you, and then do that. Like, what feels good to me, not feel good to you, Lark. And that's okay. I'm an early adopter. I've been using AI for several years now, but somebody else may not feel that way. That's why we're building bots and why we're building agents, why we're doing those things for our clients that don't feel as comfortable with it. And then once we build that for them and they can test it and see, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It sounds just like me. That's crazy. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but
that is good. Okay. And that's a great tip about creating the story bank.
Yes. The other thing that's a really good tip too, that I say is probably one of the most powerful things you can put into your story bank or into your content vault, is your testimonials and case studies.
Brilliant.
And ask the AI to use the word of your target market, of people who love you, because that's the words that other people like them are going to use when they're looking for what you're doing. So I say make a big sheet. If you don't do this, a big Google Doc or whatever with all your testimonials in them, keep adding to the library and keep updating your bot with that content, because that is literally gold.
Okay.
Literally gold. So between your stories and your testimonials, those are the two most human things you can put into an AI to make it feel like you or your clients on such a really deep level that can be very powerful.
That was gold right there.
Yay. I love it. Okay. We're talking about money, so that's gold. Okay. So that was a great question. I really appreciate that. That's very timely for today's day and age. I feel like a lot of people are asking about that in LinkedIn. Like, how do I maximize LinkedIn? But I have my episodes always end with one question. And that is, what does it mean to you to be wickedly branded? And how do you show up as wickedly branded? And what tips would you have for somebody who's listening to show up more like that?
So I would say make sure that your branding does represent you, right? Your colors and just your logo. My logo, when I developed it years ago, it's a bird leaving the bird cage with the key in its mouth. And what the message for subliminally for people is, you always have the key to get out of your own cage.
I say you always have the magic in you, like the Wizard of Oz. You always can go home. You've always had the power. You have to just lean into it. I love that. So good, Lark.
So it's something, tell people what you want to tell them without words, right? Without in your branding. And I actually had a branding specialist a couple years ago. She's an empath, so she feels into it. And she was creating some slides and she made them flowery and flowy. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm flowery or flowy, right? But then I had another person look at it later and she's, yep, this is you. And I'm like, okay, let me see how I can embrace this. Maybe a side that I might not have chosen.
Yeah. But we do that sometimes with our clients. Like, they trust us a lot. We do stuff very intensively within weeks instead of months for a lot of things. And we give them what we actually think that they need.
Yes.
And that isn't necessarily maybe their favorite color, because the psychology of the color matters. So if this is what you're trying to portray, or this is your clients, then this color is better because of these reasons. This font type is better because of these reasons. This shape is better because of these reasons. So we do push sometimes our clients outside their comfort zone, because you have a vision. This is your goal. Your marketing should be the goal, not just a pretty picture that you think is pretty. It needs to also be very functional and work holistically within your whole brand and communicate something beyond just a pretty picture.
And that's why people hire the professionals, because you have something to share with us that we can't see.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the money side too, like things we're not always able to see because we're in it. We're so in it. There's a theory called proximity. When you're in it, you can't see yourself or see the forest for the trees. So that proximity makes it like are so biased on yourself that you need somebody outside to say, I see, like you said, like, I heard something there. Go dive deeper there to get into it. So I love that so much. Be you for sure. That is your uniqueness, and it's beautiful. And someone is waiting for you to show up as that person, to be the person they choose to do the work with. So I love that so much. So where can our listeners find you? You have a website, you have a free resource. And what's your favorite social platform that we can find you?
Okay, I'm going to say this. It's Facebook, because of my age. Here it is. It's super easy. Lark Dean Galley. It does flow to Insta. Let's just be real. I'm a simple tech person.
Okay.
Website is larkdeangalley.com.
Perfect. And there's a freebie on there that pops up, right?
Yep. It pops up. Free money blocks training, and we all have them.
Perfect. So great. Thank you so much, Lark, for joining me today. It's been so nice. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, to my listeners, I really hope that you enjoyed this conversation. Money can be something that can really challenge you. And if you can grab a hold of that and own that fully, I think the sky is the limit. And I think one of the reasons why I'm going to say this, that so many women, I think, are challenged is because the first time we've been able to have money. So we are learning as we go, and we'll be able to teach the future generations. So I really hope this episode lit a little bit of fire under you and gave you some new ideas, and most of all, inspired you to take some kind of action to maybe improve your mindset or improve your AI or do something that will help you take a step. Because here's the thing that I know for sure, 100%, is that your message matters, your work matters, and the world needs to hear what you have to say. Marketing isn't just about visibility. It's also about the impact that you can make. It's about connecting with the right people in a way that feels completely and 100% true to you. So I want you to keep showing up, keep sharing your brilliance, and keep making magic in the world. And if you ever feel stuck with marketing or branding, I'm here, but so is Lark. If you have some money mindset issues, make sure you reach out to her, because you don't have to do this alone. We are here to help you turn your little spark into a wildfire. But until next time, I want you to dare to be wickedly branded. Wow, what an incredible conversation we just had. I hope that this episode lit a little bit of a fire under you to finally bring your brand to life in a way that feels true to you. Remember, clarity is the spark, but activation is that fire and flame that keeps your message and your visuals and your strategy aligned, and the confidence that follows. So does that lovely thing called momentum that you've been waiting for. So if today's episode, if you loved it, make sure you are subscribed to the Wickedly Branded Marketing Podcast so you never miss an insight or a conversation. Until next time, dare to be wickedly branded.